Hi, this is Yvonne Prant, and I'd like to talk to you about Mother's Day and the communications that will help you make the most of the often missed outreach, evangelism, and spiritual growth opportunities of Mother's Day. So let's get started. First of all, a few statistics about Mother's Day. Mother's Day is the third highest day for church attendance, just behind Christmas and Easter. Now, why is this? I think you'll find the real reason a little bit different than what many people first think. The real and often missed reason why churches are full on Mother's Day is not because of the moms that are there. The moms are always there in church. That isn't the reason. They are full because of the unchurched spouses and unchurched kids that show up that day to make mom happy. Now, this really presents a fantastic evangelism opportunity for you on that day. Now, that's not to say that you do away with the celebrations that you normally do for moms. They're wonderful, they're very important. But if that's the only focus, you will really miss out on significant opportunities. So don't quit your wonderful traditions, but I want to challenge you to do more. Now, in saying that, I've listed a number of opportunities for you. And as this session continues, we'll go through each one of them. Number one, you do want to celebrate moms. Second, you want to invite unchurched family members. Third, you want to welcome unchurched family members. Fourth, you want to evangelize. You want to share the gospel, share the good news of Jesus with unchurched family members. Five, you want to invite back unchurched family members. And six, you want to encourage moms, and I say of all kinds, and what I mean by that are biological moms and stepmoms and spiritual moms and anyone in that role. You want to encourage them in ministries. Now, to help you do all of these opportunities, Effective Church Communications, my website, has for you, you're going to see pictures of these communications, and they aren't just things that we're illustrating. I'll give you the strategy on how to use them, and then also I will show you where to get the finished communications. They're available in Microsoft Publisher files that you can edit, also PDFs that you can print up and just use as is. Also, there will be, you could resize the graphics, you can modify, you can do whatever you want. In Publisher, there will be text files, for example, for One Mother's Prayer that you can use in your own publications. All of the material I grant you access to. The images are copyright free, they're legal to use, and the writing I grant you reproducible rights for it. Now, if you're just a visitor to the site, I will show you how to get samples, and if you're a member, all of the materials are free. To find out more about that, you can go to the Effective ChurchCom site, www.effectivechurchcom.com. And that's all I'm going to say about the site for now, but I just wanted you to know that I'm not just, showing you things and having you go out and create your own. All of the material that I'm going to show you, it's done and it's ready to go for you. Opportunity number one, we want to celebrate moms. Let me show you a really fun thing I think that I came up with on that. Here are, and you can do all kinds of usual things, but these are two bookmarks. And what I did is I found this. It's called seed paper. And it's really cool. I got some and I tried it. It's just the neatest thing. It is paper that has little wildflower seeds embedded in the paper, but you can put it through your printer. It kind of looks like parchment paper. You can also run it through a ComColor, a Riso ComColor machine, or a digital duplicator. It's just the neatest stuff. It's kind of expensive, $11.50 for a package of 25 sheets, and you can print 4 bookmarks per page. But I think it's just really a special little giveaway that you could do to celebrate moms. Also, you want to celebrate moms and what they are doing in the power of prayer. Prayer is one of the most powerful things a mother can do, and you want to commend them for that. And also, too, you really want to encourage moms on Mother's Day to realize that they may not see with earthly eyes the results of their prayers, but that doesn't make them any less powerful. Now, to celebrate this with moms, I have something that has been really the most, actually, probably the most reprinted thing I've ever written. It's entitled One Mother's Prayer, and I will be reading it to you in just a minute. You can use it to invite people to things as an encouragement, a giveaway. There's just lots and lots of things that you can use it for. And I have it printed up for you in both half sheet size and full sheet size that you can use it in, just wherever you want to use it. But for now, just sit back for a minute, relax, and let me read the text to you. One mother's prayers. Her worst fears had come true. Her son had become involved in a strange mystical religion. She'd had such high hopes for him. Since his infancy, she prayed God would touch his life. Her husband wasn't a Christian, and sometimes in a temper would taunt her praying, but she kept on. Her son grew up in a small town. The family owned their home, but they weren't wealthy. Determined their son would have a good education, they scrimped and saved to send him to school. Somehow his brother and sister didn't receive the same attention or prayers. He did extremely well in school. People began to notice his brilliant mind. A prominent citizen of the town set up a scholarship for her son's graduate studies. She was so proud. Her joy diminished, though, with worries about his spiritual health. He attended church some, but refused baptism, and there were little incidents, stealing, things like that. She worried, and she prayed. He excelled in graduate school and finished with high expectations. But his religion, his letters contained long explanations of finding true reality and speculation how reality divided into darkness and light. Jesus was not truly God incarnate, he said, but an example of pure light entrapped in suffering in matter. He'd always been good with words, but these words wounded her. She decided to visit him. She thought her heart could stand no more pain, but she was wrong. He was living with a girl, and they weren't married. They had a son. She was a grandmother, but she couldn't be proud of it. In desperation, she explained the situation to her minister. He told her that the son of so many tears could never come to destruction. Somehow, the message seemed from God. The years passed. Her son was unhappy with his job. He was often ill. He left the girl, but kept the son. Finally, he became disillusioned with his mystical religion and began to question her about God. He started to go to church again. There he found Christian friends and questioned them. He began to read the Bible. Her prayers increased. Her husband died, but he had become a Christian in his final illness. She too grew weaker, older. She feared she would die before the prayers for her son were answered. Her grandson was a teenager now, and she went to visit. A changed son met her, a son hungry to know about God, asking questions, requesting prayer. A son who would one day rush to tell her he had given his life to God by trusting Jesus as his personal Savior. At Easter, her son and grandson were baptized. Their times together now were so precious, talking about the Lord and praying together. Her prayers overflowed with thanks, but still she desired much more for her son. She knew her son as a Christian less than a year. In the August after his Easter baptism, she breathed her last and went home to the Savior, to whom she had spent so much of her life talking. She never saw with earthly eyes the great man of God her son became. She never heard his great sermons or read writings that determined much of Christian theology. She never knew her son's insights would jog Martin Luther into seeing that one is justified by faith alone. She would never hear her son's words that caused so many hearts to consider Jesus as Savior. Thou hast made us for thyself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in thee. Every part of this story is true. The mother who prayed was Monica, the mother of St. Augustine. You have my permission to use this any way you want, but I do encourage you to use it. You can use it for women's Bible studies, and you can use it for Moms in Touch group and all kinds of things like that. But do use it. The Lord has seemed to have made it very, very helpful to people in different situations. But Mother's Day is a great day to give it out. Opportunity number 2, invite unchurched family members. Now, equip your people to invite, and here's a bunch of invitations I've created for you. Tell them what you're going to do. Tell them, and we'll be getting into this in just a few minutes, all the special things you're going to do for family members, what you're going to say, what you're going to preach, how this is a time to really involve them in the church, and then give them invitations to pass out to get people to come. Now, when you do that, also invite the entire church to pray, really encouraging everyone to join with moms to have the Lord really touch the hearts of unchurched family members and get them to church on that day. Opportunity number 3, you want to welcome unchurched family members when they come. Food is always wonderful. You can have a coffee cart. I've been to churches where they've had a coffee cart for free lattes and frappuccinos and all those sorts of things. That can be just lots and lots of fun. You can have a brunch for moms and families. It can be very simple. It can be complex. It doesn't really matter. Just something that, where you're sharing food. You can have an apple pie contest. You can have a contest for the best pie, the most unusual, the biggest, the smallest, whatever it is, mom and apple pie. That's always a fun thing to do. Some other things that you can do that can be really fun is you can invite all the visitors to visit adult Bible classes, sort of a takeoff of like open house at school. Have your different classes, maybe history of the Bible, or, why do we know these things are true, or just, better parenting, or whatever it might be. Open up your classes and really expect people to come and enjoy them. Have literature available or a ministry fair where people know what else is going on in the church. A lot of unchurched spouses may not realize that the men's ministry, participates in Habitat for Humanity builds, and they go on fishing trips together, and they do all kinds of cool things like that. Have a ministry fair. Let them, meet some of the men of your church. Invite them to things. This can be very, very positive because oftentimes people that don't go to church regularly don't really have a good view of what the church is actually like. For adult children who maybe don't go to church, if you have a vibrant single adult ministry, tell them about that. This can be very appealing. And then too, a lot of the moms may not even realize all the ministries you have for them. So at the minimum, literature, and I highly recommend something like a ministry fair to let people know what's going on. Opportunity number 4, you want to evangelize unchurched family members. This is a really fantastic opportunity for the pastor to say what a mom can't say. And might be something along these lines. Moms love their kids and they hate to be away from them. And an eternity separated from a child. Thinking about that is a heart-wrenching pain every day. It's not easy or comfortable to talk about, but to not talk about it really, that means you don't really care. So have the pastor share what it means to be a Christian, why it's important, however you want to explain that in your denomination, your faith tradition, but invite them to come into the family of faith. Now, in addition to that, you want to connect with people. Connection cards, of course, are the best way to do this. And these are just 2 samples. I have quite a few others on the website that you can download. But you really want to use a connection card because you won't know that people are there if they don't tell you. So encourage them to fill it out. Take time to explain, we just love to stay in touch. We would love to answer your questions, prayer requests. If you'd like information information on singles events or men's group or whatever, please check that little box. Give people time to fill them out. Don't just mention something like this and then zoom on with the rest of the service. Be sure they're sitting down, they have something to write with, and give them time to fill it out. And then I strongly recommend that you collect them with the offering. Some churches have people take things to a visitor center, but the drop off of the things that you collect is huge if they have to do anything else other than just put it in something that's being passed by. And also too, they're kind of encouraged to do that because people feel funny not putting something in an offering plate, but here they've got something that they can put in there, and that works out really well. So do create connection cards. These are absolutely essential to getting ongoing contact with visitors. Now, you want to also follow up after the service. Now, what I have here is this really gives people an opportunity to find out more. I encourage you to use something like this as a bulletin insert, or you can also send it to people later, but as a bulletin insert, I mean, this is kind of a strong message, but again, it's really important because it lets people know that they can find out more about the Christian faith. But let me read this to you. This Mother's Day, give mom something better than flowers or chocolate. Better than flowers or chocolate? How can that be? Flowers are a treasured tradition, and chocolate is, well, chocolate. What more needs to be said? You know Mom will appreciate these things, but there is something that would mean even more to her. You already know what that is. You know she would love it if every Sunday you were with her in church. It isn't simply your physical presence that's meaningful, although she loves to be with you. What would make it meaningful is if you were coming as a faithful follower of Jesus. Now, there may be many reasons why faithful follower of Jesus does not describe your life today. Maybe when you were young, you were excited about the church and Jesus, but you feel you've outgrown it. You had questions the church couldn't answer, so you went looking elsewhere and never came back. Life is simply too busy and church is not a priority. Whatever the reason, take time to consider Jesus. The church you are visiting can help you do that. Question, search, and talk to Mom about it. That will give her a joy that won't fade, even like the most beautiful flowers will. Now, you can also, and then I have another version that has websites that people can go to on the back. You can invite them to things. You can give them websites. You can give them people to contact at the church. The thing is, let's make the most of this opportunity. Don't be shy. Don't, just, let's have a happy chocolate and be done with it. You have a great opportunity here. Make the most of it. Opportunity number 5, invite them back. On this, your welcome, your kindness, the great people should have paved the way. The connection card gave you the contact information. Now, invite them back. You can use these publications that I've created, and again, there's a number of other varieties. You can use them, you can put them in the bulletin, you can use them as bulletin inserts, you can send them out as postcards, emails, whatever. But just this message, want to make Mom really happy? Come back to church next Sunday. Pretty simple message, but I think it's pretty clear what you want to say. So don't just stop with Sunday. Do intentionally invite people back. Be winsome and be persistent. You can be humorous, you can be funny, but keep after them. Their eternal destiny is at stake, and that's very important. Finally, opportunity number 6, invite moms to other ministries. There are many ministry options in the church, and again, it isn't just for biological mothers, for stepmoms and moms who maybe don't have their own children, but there can be spiritual moms. There are so many things that can be done, and spiritual parenting is extremely important. Show them the various ministry options at your church, women's groups, studies, perhaps ones that aren't just focused on children, but perhaps refugees and, serving the underserved in your community, lots of different things. Mentoring, tutoring. Professional women are always needed to mentor younger women, so expand your women's ministries. Let the women of the church know remind people what your church has, and come up with some creative new options. And one fun way to advertise this, let's face it, everybody loves recipes. And these are my recipes, so you have permission. I used to write cookbooks a long time ago, but these are a couple of my recipes, and both for an apple pie. And then here is my recipe on how to make a frozen pie crust look and taste homemade. It's really simple, just in a nutshell. You take the pie crust, you get a couple of frozen pie crusts, the deep dish ones. You turn one of them upside down over your pie and kind of mash it down, or, pat it down, and then crimp the edges so it looks, not all, artificial. And then just a little bit of milk or half and half on top. Sprinkle it with sugar and a little bit of cinnamon, and it looks homemade, tastes great, really fun to do. So give these to mom and to guests with your women's ministry options on the back. They'll keep the recipe card around, and you never know then when they'll show up to one of the various ministries. And again, you don't have to use this for Mother's Day. This can be a fun thing to give out at any women's occasion. Now, just in review on how to make the most of Mother's Day. You want to make the most of this wonderful day by doing these things, remembering that flowers are wonderful and chocolate is a joy, but the best thing a child or a spouse can give a mother is faith in Jesus. And the best thing that a church can do is to help moms share the good news. Have your church be welcoming, have a ministry fair, have the pastor preach a sermon that shares the gospel and challenges children and spouses to find out more about the faith that their mother has. And help moms become involved in ministries that will help their relationship grow with Jesus. And now, to help you do all these things, all the materials in this presentation are available at the www.effectivechurchcom.com website. It's your source for church communications training, resources, and inspiration to help your church fully fulfill the Great Commission.